Is this not Panthor? Is this in fact another Thundercat that just happens to be purple? What is going on, everyone? This is Tom doing another toy ramble, and today I have gotten my hands on the Masters of the Universe Thundercats crossover Panthor-Man, Savage Catman, as it sounds like something from the old Filmation show would scream out. It was a Savage Catman. He came out of nowhere. Possibly voiced by Don Knotts because he was popular at the time. Before I start opening this guy, let's take a quick look at the back of the package to get a look at some of that really great box art. This was super cool. I really like the way that this was handled. I like the idea of him coming out of a swamp, even though I don't know why Panther would be in a swamp. Maybe that's why he turned into a savage Catman, because he doesn't want to be wet. Very upsetting to him. Not all Thundercats are good, as Panthor Man finds an ally in Skeletor in his plans to overthrow Lion-O as Lord of the Thundercats. It's interesting. So I don't know why I never read that before. I never paid attention to the fact that, okay, so in this crossover, is this not Panthor? Is this in fact another Thundercat that just happens to be purple and met up with Skeletor and said, "Yeah, let's take over." Does Panthor exist in this crossover as just Panthor? Holy cow! I actually really like that wrinkle. I like the idea of there being another a Thundercat character wandering around who also hates Lino. Just happens to look like Panthor. So of course Skeletor set him up with a Panthor theme. He may not even like green. That is, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's get you out of there. Once again, the artwork for this is fantastic. I love this as a standalone card. I'm glad that I didn't have to complain about having this as a separate thing. This is really nice. I don't know why you get such a kick out of these. It's such a neat little here, do this. Now do this. And if your kid's bored, they can color this. Savage Catman is no match for Twisty Ties. Yeah, I often wonder if it's just as much of a fight to get these guys in the package as it is to get them out. These plastic ties fight you with their lives. They take this seriously. And here he is, free from his prison, the Savage Catman, known as Panthor Man. Which I still think is, I've always been amused by the addition of man to whatever hero there is in Masters of the Universe, because it's Panthor Man, it's Battle Cat Man, get with it. So right off the bat, he is fantastic. I have been waiting for Panthor since this line was announced. As soon as they said they were going to be doing a Thundercats and He-Man crossover, I immediately wanted them to do Battle Cat as the Anthor that he appeared in the DC Thundercats crossover, but also really, really, really want, and he didn't even appear in the comic, but if Battle Cat can become an Anthro hero character, then so could Panthor, and I'm so glad that they did that. Especially once they showed off the claw weapons that Battle Cat Man came with, that he Panthor just seemed like a shoe-in, just right from the jump. So I'm glad to see that they went in this direction because the line seems to be over, although there were those pictures from, I forgot the name of the convention. I've only seen one picture somewhere on Facebook, and it looked like it was Hachiman. So it looks like this crossover series might actually be continuing when I thought it was over. But Panther Man looks awesome. I don't know what this symbol is. But at first glance, I was like, the Horde? He's not with the Horde, is he? But this is not the Horde symbol, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. If you know, let me know and let me know in the comments because I don't know what this is. I knew they had to have some sort of chest armor thing because Battle Cat has that as well. But the overall look of him is, while basic, very, very good, very, very well done. He is a repaint. Battle Cat was clearly the inspiration, possibly pre-tool for this. So they share armor, they share, well, the chest piece is different, which also looks very nice. The helmet's the same, wrist gauntlets, I believe, are the same. He's rocking the Panther kind of emerald green color, which looks great. The detailing is really good. This helmet is removable. And you'll notice that Panther does not have any pupils, which I like. I like that they kept his eyes kind of that blank yellow because that looks really good. I believe Battle Cat Man has pupils, and that's a good distinction between the two. But Panther does not, nor should he, and that's fine. Very basic lay on the back. No dry brushing, no wash or anything because none of the figures have that. The gray for the boots looks pretty good. And again, like you can see detailing, but there's not much of a wash on there. To be nitpicky, just a little nitpicky, I'm glad that he has a helmet. I do kind of wish that he had more of that classics inspired Ram style helmet. So we would have this helmet, but also the kind of more of like the Ram design to mimic Skeletor. And like I said, if this guy is just a separate guy who just looks like Panther, and Skeletor was immediately like, "Ah, he looks like my trusty steed," I gave him Panther style armor, he'd absolutely give him the Ram helmet because that would look really neat. I just kind of noticed on mine. This is probably from being shoved into that package. Mine's got a little bit of a droopy ear. Not quite the same on here, but he is unintentionally adorable. That is not what Panthor-Man wanted. He wants you to fear him, not clasp your hands together and say, "Aw." He's very sensitive about that. Don't bring it up when he's around. So Panthor-Man comes with claws. That's it. That's all you get. You get nothing else. Good day, sir. But these are perfect because when I imagine Panther as an anthropomorphic character and walking around on two legs, my first thought immediately, because he's a cat and cats have claws, was to make him some variation of Terror Claw's Skeletor. So him having these cool looking claw weapons, and of course, Battle Cat Man had these as well. But I think that the original intention was for Panther to have these weapons. What's interesting is that the original picture, the original tease for him, that I think was shown off at San Diego Comic Con in 2025, had Panther looking, and I don't know if it was just a mock up or if it was just concept art, but they had him looking a lot more thin than this. Yeah, he's pretty buff here, which is what I prefer because Panther, being the counterpart to Battle Cat, I always imagined as being the larger, bulkier, more dangerous creature. But I remember the artwork that we were shown at San Diego Comic Con had him looking a lot more alive, a little bit thinner, almost more of like a swimmer's build, which would also have made him, in the world of comics and fast versus brawn or brains versus brawn kind of dichotomy between him and Battle Cat would have been kind of interesting if he was a little bit more lanky, but also really dangerous because of his weaponry. But I also really like the way that this looks, the way that this came out. I am on board because he looks awesome. And it's one of the few times that I don't really have a preference for whether or not he has the helmet on. You can put the helmet on, keep it, and he still looks really good. But he looks just as good with it off. The bendy ear on mine. I may have to try and fix this because this is kind of killing me. Maybe a little bit of time under the hair dryer. Maybe that'll take care of that. But so let's take a quick look at Panther's articulation, and we'll start with the head, where he is on a ball socket joint with a pretty good range of motion. He's got pretty, he can look up pretty well, glare down at his cat toys. Moving to the shoulder is on a swivel joint with a pretty good range of motion. It is, of course, detachable, as is the play pattern. Elbow is up and down with a swivel, and wrist is full range of motion with the in and out. It would have been interesting to me if we had gotten more of a claw hand, or even as a swappable hand, one that where his hands were extended out into a claw. But I get that they use the standard grippy hands, even though he doesn't come with weapons to grip. Like these claws do snap onto the hands. They snap on and they latch on, but it just seemed kind of weird that he doesn't have any sort of. You'd think that maybe they would give him his own version of the Havoc staff, but they did not. So at the waist, he has a full twist motion at the waist. Thighs have the ball socket. They are not drop down joints, but they do give a pretty decent range of motion. Whoa, yikes. My Panthor has some battle scars. What was what happened to you, buddy? Those are not repeated on the right side. He's yikes. Treat your Panthors kindly. You don't know what they've been through. Set rotation at the knee with a little bit of a swivel there. A cut in the calf. So you have that rotation. And you had a full swivel at the ankle, as well as a rocker joint for the ankle. And again, just another quick notion on the way that the detailing is laid out. No paint on the claws, even though he definitely has some claws coming out of the his hands and feet there. No paint is on there, which is interesting. But again, who knows? Yeah, it's a very basic figure. It's a very basic layout. The repaint ability of these figures has always been part of the interest that's been held in the line. So I'm not holding that against it. It's just interesting that that detailing is in fact in there. It just happens to not be painted. So that's something you want to do on your spare time. It will only bring out the best in your figure. So without further ado, because I can't wait, and I've been waiting for well over a year plus for this Panthor versus Battle Cat. They look awesome together. They've always looked awesome together, whether they were Steves for He-Man and Skeletor, and now as part of the Thundercat versus He-Man crossover. These two look awesome together. I love it. I love this so much. They look amazing. Yeah, and it's always been like this. The clash of colors, the warring factions, the whole all of it. I've always wanted to see a knockdown drag out fight between Battle Cat and Panthor, and unfortunately we never got that in the cartoons. I don't need a little blood. I don't need to go too far, but a really cool, really interesting action based back and forth fight between Panthor and Battle Cat. I've always wanted to see that in any of the cartoons in any some way, shape, or form, and I was hoping that we would get that with Revelations, Revolutions, whatever, what have you. But we never got that, which is a shame because Panthor is part of this crossover, and it's still fascinating to me, having read that little bio on him, that he is in fact another a Thunderian. It sounds like, and he wants to take out Lion-O, which that's interesting. Why? What happened? What did he do to you, Panthor? Panthor might just be a horrible person. We don't know, but I love that there is in this crossover, there's more official lore between Panthor-Man and these guys than there is him and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Because I love all the crossover stuff, even with their flaws. Panthor-Man with now that I have these two together, tell me you wouldn't want to see Panthor repainted into Ravage. Holy cow, that would look awesome. You don't even have to do all that much. Just paint him black. make his make his armor silver. We're halfway there. He's already got some of the silver armor. Just paint him black. Make these. You can make them silver as well. And there you have it. But that's just me fantasy booking, which I might do. I might. Oh, I need to. I should do that. I should do a full fantasy booking of this crossover that really dropped the ball. Just for scale, let's put him next to Masterverse Mordak. And he looks really good next to him. And I'm not going to lie, this is just me being greedy. If we could get us a Masterverse version of Panthor-Man, oh man, would I be all over that? That would look really good. With your level of detailing and attention to all these little minute things in the Masterverse line, and Panthor-Man already looks really, really good. Just a little bit more height, just a little bit more bulk, and just a little bit more detailing. Oh, I would kill it. And because I have to, yes, you can't have Panthor as a character without him hanging out atop Panthor. And holy cow, this looks so good. And now that we know, now that I know that the lore for this character within the Thundercats He-Man crossover is that this might not actually be Panthor given a bipedal form. This could happen. We don't know if the actual Panthor isn't running around here and just someone just lets someone that looks like him wander around on him. He might prefer this, or he might try to eat him. We don't know for sure. But yes, yeah, buddy. So, at the end of the day, if you love He Man, if you love Thundercats, if you're a big fan of Panthor, and you really like crossovers, then I would highly recommend that you go out and get your hands on Crossover Panthor. Get your hands on Panthor-Man because he looks excellent. I know, he's a straight up repaint of Battle Catman, and there's only the most minor differences. The paint's a little different, the colors are a little different, and he gets a new chest armor. But boy, does it work. It works so well. This is what I was waiting for from the start of this line. From the second that they announced that this crossover was happening, this was what I wanted. And honestly, the bar wasn't that high, and they cleared it, and they did a really good job. The figure feels really good. The plastic is high quality. The joints are smooth. You don't have to worrying about cracking them in place or anything accidentally snapping. He feels good in hand. He has some really good detailing. The armor that he comes with looks really good. He doesn't have a whole lot of accessories, just the terror claws, and that's really all that he needs. Plus the helmet. The helmet is also very nice. And despite minor nitpicks, like I think a new helmet would have looked really cool. Him being maybe even a little bit bulkier would have been kind of cool, but this works perfectly well as a Panther. Also, I really wish that he had a tail. Really wish that he had a tail. But again, those are minor nitpicks, minor quibbles. I would highly recommend you go out and get your hands on Panthor-Man before he gets his hands on you, because as his packaging says, he is a Savage Catman. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. If you have, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your buddies, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Panthor-Man. Will you be picking him up? Are you going to pass on him? And if so, in either direction, why? Let me know. And until next time, take care, everybody. So Mattel, April 1st, Maddie Creations, flocked Panthor. Get on that.